This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Not everyone is careful with your personal information, which might explain why there's a victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the U.S. Fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year by visiting LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. 3 couples, 4 vacations, a lot to unpack. Watch The 4 Seasons, a new series starring comedy favorites Tina Fey, Steve Carell, Will Forte, Coleman Domingo, and more in a hilarious and heartfelt love letter to long-term relationships. Based on the original Alan Alda film. Watch The 4 Seasons, May 1st, only on Netflix.
That moment when you realize your skincare is actually working. That's Rodan & Fields, the #1 female dermatologist-founded skincare brand in the U.S. Designed by 2 dermatologists who don't just know women's skin, they know how to formulate for it. Rodan & Fields, love what you see. Tap the banner or visit rodanandfields.com/Spotify to get your exclusive welcome offer.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. Here are your hosts, Steve Collins and Greg Berg.
Hey, Coach, welcome to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. I am so excited that you decided to join us. Before we jump in, I like to give a big shout. First of all, the Coach Berg's website, gberg, BERGE.gumroad.com. It's got everything. First of all, it's got his team iOS, which rocks, which I'm using with my team. I'm going to use with my team. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited about it. But it's got a little bit of everything. It's got free resources. You can see how great his material is. gberg with an E. .gumroad.com. Again, it will be down below in the show notes. And then also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. There's lots of programs. There's lots of things. There's ex-coaches. There's ex-Division I coaches. There's ex-high school coaches. You know, I am actually a high school coach running this in the front lines with all of you, knowing what you're going through. Go over and check it out. I think you won't be disappointed. 14-day free trial. And let's head off to the podcast. All right. Welcome to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. This is I told Coach before we jumped on, I'm pretty excited about this one. I think actually this is maybe one of my secret sauces because I think we're pretty good in a school of 2,300, and you know, it's not only hard to make the team, but then to find that specific role within the team it's a pretty difficult thing. So we're going to talk about defining roles. So, Coach, what's your thought on defining roles?
The first thing I'll say is I don't know if there's anything more important for a coach to do than defining the roles of the players on the team. I see it so much in the teams we play, and you can tell well-coached teams based on the defined roles that those players have, and you can see teams that are not well coached. And it pretty much, you can start with shot selection. Shot selection is a good way to determine if roles are defined on teams. But I just think, and I don't have a lot of secrets with this, I just think communication is so important, Coach. And us as coaches, we have got to sit down with players and we have to clearly define what a good shot is for you, what a poor shot is for you. What I use the phrase all the time with our kids: be great at what you're good at. Be great at what you're good at, over and over and over again. And if you're a great screener, be the best screener on our team. If your job is to rebound, play defense, and hit some bunnies inside, that's your job. If you start doing things that you're not good at, we all know what happens. When you start doing something you're not good at on the court, you stick out like a sore thumb and you sit next to us because you're making mistakes. It's those kids that know what they're good at and they focus on doing that to help the team, that allow teams to have the most success. So I can talk about some things we do with shooting and shot selection, but in a nutshell,
That's
really
yeah.
important.
Well, the shooting thing is the hardest thing for them to come. I mean, I think it's Coach Huggins used to say, you're open for a reason.
Yep.
You're open for a reason. But I'll just tell you kind of how we do roles and stuff. And I love what you're talking about. We talk about superpowers and kryptonite. I have this, and even in my coaching, and hopefully my kryptonite, I have hired people on my staff that my kryptonite that things I'm not good at, which I know I'm not good at. I've hired people that are good at those things.
Absolutely. Yep.
So it's similar in this. It's like we all have superpowers and we all have kryptonite. And so some of them I have to explain what that means. But I want the good high school programs, the good basketball programs, you hide the kryptonite and you accentuate the superpowers.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. It literally is that simple. Even in the NBA, Giannis is very, very good, but he has a couple skill sets that aren't as good as some other ones. They try to hide those. Sometimes he gets in foul trouble, and sometimes there's things he does. He's one of the best players in the world, but he still has things that he's
good outside shooter.
Yeah. There's things that he's not. So they hide him. They try to hide him, and they try to So I think that's the thing. But the way we do it is once I pick the team, once we've had cuts and I've had to pick the teams, we do roles 3 times in a year. Now I'm talking to kids all year long.
Yep.
We have 3 formal times. We have before the first game, usually winter break, and then right before tournament is when we do it. Now we do a postseason when I don't count that one because that's for next year. I don't do that with my seniors, but and those are courageous conversations. Those are here's where you are, here's what you're good at, here's what you need to work on. And talking about leadership in the previous couple of weeks too. Like I know last year I of all of them, I think maybe all but one were really good. They all kind of understood their role, but there was one that just did not understand, we were trying to put a square peg into a round hole, and it was like hearing nothing I was saying. And that's tough. It's from a cultural standpoint, from a leadership standpoint, from a team winning standpoint, the kid couldn't play. Like you can't play at this point because you just don't understand where you fit into kind of your roles and stuff.
And I think this, the culture piece of a program, like I find it so much easier now because kids know coming up. I mean, they know what we value. They know what they see us play. They know what type of shots we take. They know how we play. They know that they have to buy into their role. You know what I mean? Like they know that if they want to get on the court, that's what they need to do. And, one thing we do at the beginning, we've talked about our preseason self-perception form that we do a little bit, that helps define it right away. Like if we were to have a game tomorrow, where is your role? Where does the team see you? Where do you see you? Where do I see you? I want to make sure all 3 of those align. But I'm with you. It's the, we definitely talk about it kind of holiday-ish time, definitely before the tournament again, definitely before the first game. You have to kind of lay it out there and say, you know what, we're probably going to play 8 kids, guys. And our first guy off the bench is going to be this, and I also do on my preseason form, I have the kids, you'll like this one. I have them tell me how many minutes they expect to play every game and how many shots they expect to take. I add them all up. I say, well, we average whatever. I don't know how many shots per game. Yeah. We're going to be taking twice as many guys. We're going to have to figure this out. You know what I mean? You gotta do
you and I are both math teachers in there. Like at some point, it's like I do the exact same thing. It's like, okay, so this, like we were like 100 minutes over last year. It's like this can't happen mathematically. I can't do this.
Work.
Like
can't play 8 on 5.
Right. And it's like, so I like the shot part. I've always just done the minute thing just to kind of get, it's like, okay, here's what we have. We played 18-minute half. So I've got 36 minutes. So, so it's like, but then, and they all kind of know a couple kids should be playing like high 20s, at least in ours. It's like, they're going to need a little rest, but they're going to maybe play 30 to 36. So all of a sudden they're all fighting for, it's a wonderful visual. Now, will they all get it? Not necessarily, but it's a great visual. Like I can't I'm not playing 15 people for 12 minutes, whatever it is. It's like, that ain't happening.
And having these conversations with kids, like right away, preseason meeting, they have to know exactly what is expected of them. We're going to play 8 guys. We have a really tough schedule. I mean, in a perfect world, I think we would all say we have a real successful season. You maybe have a few games where, you're going to get a bigger victory and you can put kids in and, but sometimes, I mean, if you have like a really competitive team and you're like, every game is a battle, there's kids that aren't getting in, and they have to know that going in and know that you're going to do whatever you can to give them more PT when you can. But, clearly defining that and communicating it often and having these one-on-one relationships are critical for a coach, because it's a great quote. If you don't communicate with kids on this stuff, when you don't communicate at all as a coach, you get a void of communication. And whenever there's a void, that void has to be filled with something. And more often than not, it's filled with negativity.
It is.
And so communicating and defining roles, critical.
It is. And to be honest, from an old dog, I'm telling you right now, for the people listening, it's a lot easier sometimes for a junior to accept that than a senior. Because they might play the next year, they might develop into the next year. It's like it's a unique senior that can be the 12th guy on the bench and never play. Yeah, it just is. And
I've almost,
to be honest,
weird thought on that, Steve, is I would say our seniors that come out their senior year, who have gone through it their junior year, tend to know it. Like they're willing, they know what they're going to be. Sometimes when kids get up to their first year on varsity as a junior and they've played all the time, they've been in the top 5 on all team, and all of a sudden they're mixed with the best players in our school and they don't play. That's they accept it. They accept it, but it's harder for them.
It is. And it's like, yes. And it's like there's differentiation there that's hard. But again, hopefully all the way through, it's hard. And to be honest with you, I think you're 100% right. I think most of the time the kids get it.
Yep.
I'm thinking the people that live at the same house with them sometimes don't get it quite as well.
Meeting, define it, say that, don't sugarcoat anything. If you're a young coach, you have to be honest, you have to be empathetic, but you cannot sugarcoat anything. It will only get you in trouble. Right.
And yes. And especially the young coaches, when you have these meetings, I would have another assistant in there with you, especially early in your career, maybe before you build up a little street cred.
Good idea.
Just because I've told this story on Coach Unplugged, but I had a talk with my son junior year, and when he told his mom, and what I said was not the same world. It was not the same. It was sophomore going into junior. Yeah. It was like I came home and I was like, we called my assistant up and I said, here, and put him on speaker. I go, did I say that? No, you didn't see. He said, here's what you said. So that's my own son didn't hear what I had to say. So mom needed to hear that. It's like, well, but yeah, that's cool. Like I just told him it was going to be hard. And it's like, here's what you have to do and blah, blah, blah. He heard I'm never going to play is what he heard.
Yep. They hear what they
It's selective hearing sometimes, I think. All right. Anything else with defining roles, Coach?
No, it's just incredibly important for coaches to make sure you are having this ongoing discussion with your athletes.
Awesome. That's great. All right. Till next week.